Prince Harry made a surprise appearance on Stephen Colbert's Late Show, throwing jibes at President Trump by claiming that America had elected a king, a nod to the No Kings protest. He also made a series of awkward jokes as he joined in on a Christmas sketch about being a prince in a Hallmark movie.
Isn't there a handsome prince standing in front of you right now?
Look, Harry, I'm sorry.
Thank you for asking.
Well, joining me in Washington still this evening, Federico de Jesus, former spokesperson for Barack Obama, and Ashley Brassfield, reporter for The Daily Call. What do you make of it, Federico, when you see our wonderful Prince Harry, grandson of the Queen, son of King Charles, messing around on TV like that?
I don't believe in monarchies. I don't really care about the tabloid aspect of what he wrote or Meghan wrote or didn't write. So, you know, if it wasn't funny and it was cringe, then that's bad for Stephen's ratings. And if it was, then great, freedom of speech.
So you must quite like it then when royals make wallies of themselves, make idiots of themselves, because maybe you think, OK, this is good because this means the whole thing is going to come crumbling down.
Maybe when I was younger I would think that, but it's such an industry in your country, and I am against monarchy, but I also the right of sovereign nations to decide their future is yours, so you should decide that, and not the US or our tabloids either. Yeah,
well, one American, Meghan Markle, has done a good job of deciding for us the fate of Prince Harry. Ashley, where do you stand on Harry? Are you a fan?
I'm not a fan myself. You know, we call him the spare, right? He's labeled himself as that. But Meghan Markle, it seems to influence him in a lot of ways. I think the Stephen Colbert appearance, it says a lot. I mean, Stephen Colbert has been very angry at the president, makes a shot at Harry as well at the no king comment with President Trump. So why did you come to America then? And you live in a $1 million Montecito mansion in California. So it's a little, I don't enjoy him being present here. I think South Park did a great job mocking them a little bit, saying, we want privacy, we want privacy. And, you know, that's all they wanted to do, but they continue to have failed deals with places like Netflix, I believe Spotify even, with Meghan Markle. It's just like, please stop being on my television and making comments about politics in America when you fled your country and your father is the king, right?
Yeah. Steve, let's bring you in from London. Steve Van Allen is down there, I think, in London. Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living, and maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind the more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
Hello there,
how you doing? Good to see you. So, I mean, look, we do talk about them, Harry and Meghan, of course we do. And I think probably disaster will come for them when we stop talking about them. That's the ultimate for them, isn't it? That they become irrelevant.
Yeah, you've gone Oscar Wilde on it, haven't you? The worst thing about it's being talked about, not being talked about. And this is what it's about, isn't it? It's a very cringy sketch. Look, I don't mind that. I actually quite enjoy watching the Late Show, Stephen Colbert. I don't think it should have been cancelled. But it's not as if every single thing they do is hilarious, and that was a really bad example of it. It's awkward. The weird kind of huggy thing. It kind of makes you feel, and not even good awkward like The Office. It seems like he's turned up to help his missus flog some jam. That's all it can be, isn't it? It's either trying to get more Netflix deals or flog jam. That's how they make the money these days.
You are so right. I couldn't put my finger on what it was about it that felt inauthentic. But that is the point, that he's not trying to flog anything for himself. He's not on those shows to promote a project that he's done or a charity he's working with. He's just there to help his wife's jam. And the programme that's just coincidentally launched on Netflix this week at the moment. But, and maybe trying to be generous here, Steve, is we do criticise them for taking themselves too seriously. So he might have thought, you know what, I'm going to poke a bit of fun at myself because that will go down well with the public, and we're going to do a sketch about a prince, and I'm going to make king jokes, and maybe this will endear me to the public. I can sort of see a grain of logic in that decision.
Well, the king joke I don't mind, because you're in a place where that's going to be the narrative on that show. Of course that's going to happen. But he's not really mocking himself that well just because he's a prince. It's not like he really lives that royal life. He refuted all that is royal to go and do his thing, and is now using it just for a sketch. So I know what you mean. It's not really being able to laugh at himself. He gave an interview recently where he said one of the things he likes about the Brits is our ability to do banter. And I've never seen anyone who's less good at banter. Listen, I like banter, sometimes a little bit of playful jockery, but I've never made a documentary about how upset I was that I got some pushback once.
Yeah, you're right. Just explain, Ashley, will you just explain to our audience what the no kings thing is? Because we don't have that in the UK.
Yeah, well, it's a bunch of, angry, I would say older white liberals that, go out and protest and call President Trump a king in this sense. And it's really that the age group is 50 to 75 and the demographic is basically all white adults, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think the Brits and the Americans agree on one thing. We both can't stand Prince Harry at this point. We just don't care about him at all.
And Federico, I think it's really funny, this no kings movement here in the US, because they completely fail to understand what a king is, because their idea is, well, Donald Trump thinks he's a king and therefore a dictator. And that's not what King Charles is. We have a bloke in number 10 who's a bit like a dictator. So if they said no Starmers, I'm on board with them. I know where they're coming from that. But actually, they don't understand royalty, do they, by saying we don't want a king?
Well, obviously, the symbolic King Charles of the 2025 isn't the King George of the 70s, 70s that was actually imposing taxes, levies, and abolishing state laws and behaving lawlessly like Trump is starting to behave, ignoring court orders and eroding constitutional rights. So when we're talking about Prince Harry and not talking about affordability or the erosion of constitutional rights, then we're not really having a serious conversation. So this is a great discussion and very entertaining, but not really to the point.
No, okay. Just because I want to ask you one more question, Steve, what's the weather like in London?
It's been chucking it down all day, and I think we get a little break before it chucks it again tomorrow. Wet, so all right, don't rub it in. I'm sure you've had a great time.
It's very cold here, but it's dry.